ready?
Yep.
All right, we're going to open up. Ready?
Yep.
All right, Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Call Halal and Wahawat.
Call Yahweh.
Allahaya now.
Yahweh.
Yahweh. Bashim.
Bashim.
Yahweh Shai. Bashim.
Bashim.
What she just said, I said, Barakatah Yahweh is bless you the Most High. Yahweh. All right.
Got the audio.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai is bless you. Yahweh Shai, the only begotten Son of the Heavenly Father. All right, who the world we call Jesus Christ, Yeshua. All right, the true name of the Heavenly Father, only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. All right, in the Paleo Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew, all right, or Phoenician Hebrew. By Shema the best, in the name of the Spirit Holy, which we of course go through, of course, Yahweh Shai to get to the Father. All right, by Shema the Dash. Of course, giving all praises to our power, Yahweh by Shema Shai, by the Dash. Double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishops, the great millstone as well. Peace and salutation to you elect. All right, so we the Great Millstone Place Table Camp located here in Philadelphia, come with another street teacher. So we have a passerby. He said that he been kind of like looking at like what you were speaking about, how you know a particular woman introduced you to the Hebrew Israelites.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Yeah, you speak as you were speaking.
Well, yeah, the sister had introduced me to it, but you know, dealing with previous history of watching Hebrew Israelites, and you know, back when I guess the Brother Polite and all of that stuff was popping back then. And it was like kind of aggressive, you know, so it kind of pushed me away. But then at the same time, as I've been continuously doing research, like it was like, damn, maybe y'all got a couple of points that, you know, I researched like, hold up, maybe I need to relook at this, you know what I'm saying, again.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so is it like anything particular that you don't like that you've seen, or what? Like anything like you confused about? Like what is it?
Yeah, when you say aggressive, you mean like the speech, the way we're coming at it, the way we're like.
Yeah, you know how they be, you know, they be like, you know, that's some people out. It's like.
Yeah, I mean,
you get some presets. Yeah.
Knowledge of
okay.
Debate thy cause with thy neighbor, you know. And that's a common thing, right? There's a lot of people that get, you know, tripped up on the way we talk, but like they gotta understand the severity of this. We do this this is a very like serious thing. So like they get tripped up. We might say the word fuck, but like it's way worse than the pain that the Lord is coming to bring. So don't get tripped up because I say you know fuck you or whatnot, because it's way worse than what the Lord is coming to bring. Like that's how passionate we are. Like you need to understand that like there's men that cursed out children and had a bear come and eat them children up. That's way worse than me saying calling you an asshole. And that, the scriptures talk about like rude speech.
Yeah, he got no. Alright,
so like far as like
you got that? Alright, go ahead. And then
But yeah, you got it, brother. You got it, brother.
You get Isaiah 58 and then yeah, go ahead.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 6. But though I may,
my lips in Isaiah 20.
but though I be rude in speech, yet not in knowledge.
Now you have it in this particular precept. It said, though I be rude in speech, but not in knowledge. You have it that men of the Lord, they would speak using like what they would call like cussing words and stuff like that. Like what people would say, like you'd be like, you ignorant, right? You using these rude words and stuff. But they're cussing words. It's not curse words, right? Because a lot of people think of cursing is to wish death on somebody, right? Wish ill. Cursing or cussing is just rude speech, right? But it's not an actual sin to use any rude speech. I'm not sure if you know that, right? But there's no sin in the Bible saying that using a cuss word, like you said, word fuck or shit or anything like that, that's not any breaking any offense against any law. But you know, obviously in Christianity they would say, oh, you know, these guys use speech.
Cussing with the Bible,
They'll say it as something that's profane, but it's not profane at all. When you go into it, it's just what people prescribe as being what, like the right, what's right, and what's accepted. But when you actually go into scriptures, as we're gonna give you different accounts of actually wishing death and rude speech, like the Lord actually called, he called his people as vipers, a generation of vipers.
Yeah, if I could also say, like when you watch some of these videos and you see the disputes that be happening against the parties, the bystanders. We don't seek to like curse bystanders out. They come by and they hear what we're saying and they get offended by what we're saying. Same thing happened with who ignorantly called Jesus Christ, happened to him. He was saying some things that the people didn't agree with, that they sought to stone that man, to kill that man. So it's the same thing. We're out here just teaching the word. We let people walk by. We give them the floor to walk by, but they hear what we're saying and they don't like it, and then that's where that dispute comes. And so we're just passionate about this truth.
Okay, not to cut you off. So as I'm thinking, one of my biggest disputes with the Hebrew Israelites was, and I was watching Brother Tazariak. Y'all familiar with him?
Yeah, he from another group. Yeah.
Okay, and how he was saying like, black people ain't African, like the Hebrews ain't African, and I'm just like, with my research of, Melana Karenga, Francis Cress Westland, Chancellor Williams, the scholars of our culture, say we from Africa, and I mean if we relate it to the Bible, that took place in Israel, and that's in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So how can you?
You got the floor. Let me just give you a quick example, right? So they try to start our history from Africa, but your history goes back beyond that. It's imagine if you moved from the house that you're at now to a new house, and then another house after that, right? They'll take your history from that second house rather than the first house you're originally from. You went into that second house for a reason, and then went to the third house for another reason. But they say your history started from that second house when it actually went further than that. There's history beyond. Yes, you came from Africa. We in a way, you were brought to America from Africa, but that doesn't mean that's where you originated from. There's an origin before Africa that they purposely try to keep you from knowing. So they built your history. They built everything on you came from Africa as a slave. Our history goes. It's the same thing with Ephraim, right? The Puerto Ricans. Our history is way beyond Puerto Rico. It's way beyond Mexico. We traveled to the areas of North America, South America, to escape persecution, just like the whole so-called Africans or the so-called Negroes that went to Africa. The Judites, Benjamin and Levi, they went into the interiors of Africa to escape persecution. But they won't tell you that because they don't want you to know that when you go further and further down history, it ties you to the 12 tribes of Israel. They want to keep that away from you. That's why they start you with Africa being a slave. But you can take the floor and answer with precepts, but just going to give you that a little quick.
I know my history prior to slavery. I know we weren't enslaved.
Okay, yeah. So where were you at then? You weren't at Africa not being a slave.
So say for example, if you said that, like you said, we were pyramid builders, the people that built the pyramids, they were Israelites. You have it even over here in the Americas, different of the native, being like you say like Latin tribes, like over in Aztecs.
Yep.
Going to with the Aztecs and Issachar, go to like Mexicans, and you go into the different tribes of Zebulun.
Yep.
They which Zebulun going to like different Central Americas, like going to El Salvador and those regions and such. You see the different tribes on there.
But hold up, it's not Israel. Israel is not in Africa.
Israel. So we going into like you saying to where we come from, stemming from. Right, so when you go get Galatians, you got 4 and 26. Right. Now, we trace our lineage back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Adam and such, right? Adam going back to what? We going to you trying to go like the Garden of Eden and stuff.
No,
right?
But you made a reference of if we're not from Africa, then so what's the original origin?
Oh yeah, we got the scripture.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Galatians 4 verse 26. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all.
Yeah, so Jerusalem and such, right? Israel, right? Now, when we stemming everything back, we going dealing to that Fertile Crescent area and such, Israel, Palestine and such. That's where we originate everything, right? You go into like you could go into different history and stuff, Pangea and all of that, and everything and stuff. Everything like originated in, of course, Israel and such, right? And you have, of course, what? You had Adam, right? Which is a dark-skinned man, you know that, right? You have it, there was a paradise, the Garden of Eden, all right? What did it say? What, Eastward of Eden?
Eastward of Eden.
You get that scripture and such, right? In Genesis, all right? And you have it where, that's where everything originates, like where people saying we came out of Africa. No, everything was stemmed from Jerusalem.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So another point I want to make, when we go, like when I did my research on,
we got Shimhan and Jeffrey too.
Africans, right?
Yeah.
At that time, back then, that was Jerusalem, Israel, and all of these parts were part of Africa. You know, like it was part of Africa. Like we had all of that land. You know
What the Canaanites?
Now, I feel
Yeah,
like-
the Canaanites did own Jerusalem.
And now what I feel like what they do is they try to break it off and say, oh no, it was the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? But the Middle East is not a continent. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's a way of
Middle East is a made up term too.
Yeah, that's what.
Say it again.
Middle East is a made up term too. The same way Africa is a made up term.
Well, Africa
Africa is named by a
you know,
Roman general.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Scipio.
Scipio-Africanus.
exactly.
But that was debatable too, because when people came to conquer, they named themselves after the land they conquered.
Which the scriptures
so
say that.
Scipio-Africanus, this means he conquered it
Yeah.
and put
he
his
gave
name
it.
on it.
Yeah.
So that name was already there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So
he didn't name it.
when you go to it, the original people, like when we go to it, the Shem, the Ham, and the Japheth, right? Them sons. When you go into it, Ham is who will be the progenitor of the different African nations, so-called, right? Puat or Put.
Yep.
You got, of course, Mizraim going into
Canaan.
Egyptians.
Yep.
You got Canaan, right? What's that? Going into well, you got Canaan, South Africa.
Kuwait,
going into the
Kush. Kush, yep,
Ethiopians.
Kush, yep.
Right, that
You
four
got
sons,
Kuwait,
which
yep.
go into Genesis, just get
Kuwait,
the four sons who came out of going to that. Now we come out of
Right,
Shem.
and it's like, but those lands were originally called like the land of Canaan, the land of Put, right? Not the land of Africa, right? And Jerusalem, before it was Jerusalem, like he's going back when it was the land of Eden, right? It was that pleasurable place, but then we got kicked out, and then the Canaanites took that land over, and then Israel was giving that land back. That's why they went and conquered that land. So when it talks about the land of Jerusalem, they told them to wait in the river of Jordan and all that. Like there was specific things that Israel did before they got to that land, so they can conquer that land. And then that land that was the land of Canaan became the land of Jerusalem. And you know, it's our promised land that got taken from us. You know.
Land of milk and honey.
Yep.
All right. So what scripture you got in Genesis? About Genesis. What's that? The 10th chapter.
Genesis 6.
Or 6. All right. Go ahead.
Genesis 6 verse 9.
Right.
These are the generations of Noah.
All right. The generations. All right. Going into the genealogy and such. Right. Really going to the fathers. Go ahead.
Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation.
Yep.
And Noah walked with the Heavenly Father.
Yep.
And Noah begat 3 sons.
Right.
Shem, Ham, and Japheth.
Right. So Noah, he had what? He had 3 sons. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right. Shem, which had, of course, ended up having us. Right. Which that's why one of our forefathers. Right. You got Ham.
Us, what you mean?
Us being the Israelites. You got, but you have different people that came out of Shem that are heathen.
Yep.
Right.
Esau.
Yeah. Edom.
Ishmael came
Yeah,
from.
we could get all that.
And you said he had 4 sons?
No. Going into
3 sons.
it's like
3
three.
sons.
But when I said about his like meaning Ham's progenitor, like I mentioned Put, I mentioned the Egyptians, I mentioned the Ethiopians, and I mentioned who else I mentioned? What is it? South Africans?
I think it's Kawait. I think it's South.
I'm gonna get all of them for you real quick.
Or North Africa, but yeah, you got Put, Canaan, Cush.
Yeah. So
the Ethiopians.
Genesis 10 and 6, real quick.
Genesis 10 verse 6.
Yep.
It says 10 verse 6.
Yep.
Genesis 10 verse 6.
Right.
And the sons of Ham, Cush.
Ham is the progenitor for the Africans.
Can we get that do we have the Bible Compact Dictionary?
Yeah.
We get the compact.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So we got, here you go, right there,
Okay.
the table of
This
nations.
is the table of nations.
It should have the South Africans and North Africans on there.
Which this is a table of nations according to the scriptures. Who are the nations? Us being the Lord's people, Yasser Allah, he the Prince of Power. The Israelites, 12 tribes came out of Israel, who was originally in Jacob. Then you have, of course, what? The other nations, the other heathen, other 18 nations and such.
Right, and the name to the right is their biblical name, and then the name on the left is the name of today.
All right, so question.
Okay.
If you got 3 sons and one of these sons is, populates Africa, another one this, another one that, so that means the father is black. We talking about black people.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
how can I be black? I have 3 sons, and then not beef. You know what I'm saying?
Someone
Like,
have Genesis.
not
Get Genesis 25 and talks about how Edom was born different.
Yeah. So real quick, just read and clarify that Genesis 10 and 6, right?
Yeah.
Read that Genesis 10 and 6.
Remember too, Moab and Ammon, right? They were born. You know how they had children? It was by their father. They actually slept with their father. So that could be a difference of the way their offspring look just from that alone. So when you ask like how do people look different, like we're gonna get it. You know, there's certain curses that fell on people. Now, that was with Moab and Ammon, right? The daughters slept with.
That'd be Lot.
Lot, yeah, slept with Lot, because Lot's daughters were like, listen, like we can't find no man, we might as well.
Sodom and
Yeah,
Gomorrah was destroyed.
yeah, exactly. So they kind of slept with their father or whatnot. So
Where do white people come from?
We're gonna get
all
it.
we get.
So Edom, well, real quick, Genesis 10 and 6, read that.
Genesis 10 verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim.
Right, Ham means hot in the Hebrew, chum, all right, which hot, African, is chemical. That's where you get that word from, right? Right? Go into who? Read again. The
Genesis
sons,
10 verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush,
is the so-called Ethiopians.
and Mizraim,
So-called, that'd be Egyptians.
and Put,
North Africans,
Canaan.
South Africans.
And the sons of Cush was Seba,
Mm-hmm.
Havilah,
Mm-hmm.
Sabat,
Yep.
Ramah,
Mm-hmm.
Septeka,
Yep.
and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan.
Yep. And that's basically it. It says, in Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. Right. So that's why I mentioned the 4 sons that came out of Ham. Remember? I think it was a little bit of discrepancy, but that's that. Now, you said where the so-called white man came from? We're going to get that. Now, and also, Shalom. Also, like, I think you were talking about how you get a white person out of a black person.
Yep.
Well, we're going to go into that.
Yep.
Yep.
Of the dictionary.
Yeah, so, also, yeah, we bring that too. Read that too.
Yeah.
Because Noah had 3 sons, but just because they're all dark skinned, don't mean that they're all of the same nation. We're going to establish that, because you'll say, so-called African is a dark skinned man, but you have a difference between nationalities.
Yep.
Yep.
6th chapter.
Yeah, get that distinguished from 6 and 54.
Yep.
Yeah, get that 6 and 54, second Ezra. Right, brother, you get it. Malachi. Here. You can get out my Bible right here. Yep. Yep, 6 and 54. And then we're going to get to the so-called white man and everything. And all. Yep, 6 and 54. You'll see the highlighted right there. There you go.
Ezra chapter 6 verse 54.
Okay.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of all thy creatures.
Right?
Of him come we all.
Right. Don't you agree we all come out of Adam? A so-called dark-skinned man? Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Read that again from the top.
And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all.
Yep.
And the people also whom thou hast chosen.
Right. And the people whom thou hast chosen, which ultimately who the Lord chose is the nation of Israel. All right. The so-called Negroes, Native Americans. All right. You had it at the time of this time, Adam. You had different classifications of men.
Yep.
The sons, the children of men.
Yep.
You had the sons of God. Children of wicked. That's right. Okay. So 3 classifications at that time. All right. And as you said, it says, "In the people whom thou hast chosen." Right. Yeah. So you have it that there's distinguishable traits and nationalities with people and stuff. The Lord separated the nations.
Yep, that's
Right? Deuteronomy 32:8. Get that real quick.
Yeah, and if I could say too, they didn't separate us by our looks. They separated us by our basically by our nationality and by our basically our laws and our commandments and stuff like that. That's really what separates us from the other nations. Really.
Come on, bye.
So that's why, like, you know, people look at me and they try to separate me from what I believe in or what the truth is, but it's not about necessarily what you look like. It's about our nationality, it's about what the laws and commandments that was given to us. That's really what separated us from the other nations.
So, read that precept, Deuteronomy 32. Yep, real quick.
Deuteronomy 32 verse 8. when the Most High divided the nations, their inheritance.
Right, so the Lord, so he actually divided the nations, all right? Separating, cutting. Go ahead.
When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the...
And also they are all got different lots in different territories, portions of land.
Yep.
Okay? Go ahead.
He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Right? According to us, the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Haitians, the Israelites, and of course some of our people do look like other nations too. Because we've been scattered. That's another thing.
Yep.
You can't just go off the outward appearance. You know? Go ahead.
For the Lord's portion is his people.
Yeah, the Lord portion is his people.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
Right. Yeah, the Lord is dealing with only the Israelites, all right? He's not dealing with every nation on the planet, all right? But though we've been scattered across the nation, that dude could be an Israelite.
Yes.
I don't know.
Get Deuteronomy 28.
You have to try the spirit though.
Yeah, give me Deuteronomy
28 and 64.
Yep, that's
Yep,
it.
Deuteronomy 28 and 64. Yep, and we're going to break this all
because
down.
it don't matter. Like, a lot of times what happens is when a child is born, it takes both features from father and mother, to what did the Lord say? Everything is kind of for the seed.
Yes.
Okay? Women don't produce seed. Men, that's why if you plant an apple seed, no matter where you plant it, it's going to produce apples. It might grow up a little bit differently, culturally, right? Based upon the different elements it's supposed to, right? But still going to be whatever that seed was.
All right. I got two more points I wanna y'all brothers to enlighten me on before I step off. Okay. So one is that my problem with the Bible, like as far as being written by King James and all of that, and then figuring out. Let me finish. As far as being written by King James and knowing his history, also knowing the history.
So what's his history? Can we unpack that a little bit?
Yeah.
As far as King James being basically a European pedophile, you know what I mean?
Well, what do you mean by European pedophile?
So you have the
King James, like.
Well, we know about King James. I just want to know what you're understanding so we can get some sort of premise.
King James would be a European man, right? King James.
Now we're
in Africa.
Now we're the Europeans.
I don't know no.
Oh, you got the book though, right? Got the book.
My whole thing is this, right?
How we ruled Europe and all that.
My whole thing is this, right? When we refer to the Bible, right, and it's in Africa, I have problems with when they be like refer to Paul, verse 2, or Joseph or John, or these all Europeans. Like if we from Africa, it should be referred to Umbungu, Anganaminga. Like how we talking about refer to Joseph, Jacob, Paul, Peter. These all sound like Europeans to me, right? And then lastly, right, my point would be as far as Jesus in the Bible or Yeshua or whatever y'all call it.
Okay, hold on. Can we just deal with the King James things first, and then we can deal with the next thing? Okay, so as far as King James, you know he wasn't white. He was actually he was actually a black man. Now I don't know where you're getting this idea that he was a pedophile, because first of all, let's define these terms. The word pedophile means to be attracted to those who are prepubescent, which means pre-puberty. Okay, so I don't know what documentation you've read where he was actually dealing with children or those who were of prepubescent age. I've never seen that, so I don't know where you're getting that information. Now we have images of King James. He was a black man. He didn't write the Bible. He gave the authorization for the translation of the Bible.
Yeah, because
Okay.
And also when I was studying,
and he believed in the Bible. He believed in the Bible. There's records of his personal journals that he was writing to his son, going into how to be dignified, how to live an honorable life. And it was all based upon the actual Bible. It was all based upon the Bible. This man, when you go into his personal life, is actually a man of principle. A lot of times they're taking these different scenarios out of context to try to demonize it because they want to destroy the Bible. This is all what that stems from. They want to try to invalidate any credibility when it comes to the scriptures. This is really what that's about. This is why a lot of people, and I'm not saying you, but the information itself, it's just blanket statements, just a shaming tactic.
All right, so my rebuttal to that is when this Bible was written by King James, but you say he translated.
It was already written. He translated.
Okay, because I also seen when the brothers was saying that not the Bible go back further than that, like far as the Pentateuch and the original original great published form of the Bible. So then my second question is, when Jesus they have mention of him in the Bible when he was young, so about 12, and then there's no mention of him, and then he later comes back at 33 riding on a donkey when he comes back. So where is the gap? Because I later learned that he went off to India, he went off to this place, that place, and was teaching whatever, but that's missing in the Bible. So it's like an age of where I think his mom is looking for him, and he was out preaching the word and everything, and then next thing you know, it goes back to he's 33 riding on a camel back to that, so why is that?
Okay, first of all, that's not a discrepancy, that's just different time periods.
So why is it not mentioned in the Bible?
Because there's things, second answer is where it says there's things that were written and things that were meant to be excluded. Get me that. Because that's the way the Lord deals. There's certain things that you don't need to put a particular focus on. What's written is what we need for salvation. So the certain private things that the Lord may have been doing, just because there may have been a supposed jump in time from your perspective, doesn't mean that now all of a sudden we invalidate what's written.
No, I'm not saying invalidated. I'm just saying where is that gap of from 12 to
Sure.
It's like a 10-year gap that's missing.
Sure, but here's the thing now. The Lord gave us exactly what we need to live a godly life, to prepare for the kingdom of heaven. That part of what you think is missing, the Lord decided to exclude. So if the Lord decided to exclude it, then why would we get caught up with that information?
Where does it say the Lord excluded?
We're going to read it. We're going to read it.
There's a thing called white man. Essentially, he's a Russian icon.
Oh yeah. I know everywhere. China, everything.
We used to go into churches and see a picture of white men in front of the pulpit and shit like that. See Lord. So you see the both sides.
He told Esdras. Go ahead, brother. He told Esdras, right? You see the don't write these things.
Yeah, the 40 books or something like that. Yeah.
The first thing that comes to your head is
Showed him the end of the
the
time.
Lord, the most high. You think of white people? That's not true though. People can bring
Well, the Lord's description is in the book of Revelation. Also, it gives a description of the Heavenly Father in the Daniel story. We know what the Lord looks like. He is definitely a dark-skinned man from the tribe of Judah. All right? And when you go into the characteristics of the tribe of Judah, he's defined as a black man or a dark-skinned man. That's in the scriptures.
Okay. Do y'all believe in Nephilims or like giants and all of that?
Well, the giants, that is just us, right? In a greater stature, because man has declined in stature. We're a little bit more free.
We were giants.
Well, yeah, we were greater stature, but it was more of our reputation. But we were most definitely of greater stature.
Because when I say giants, when we talk about the
Right.
Bible,
I'm not talking about mythical.
David and Goliath. Goliath was supposed to be a giant.
Right.
He was like 40 feet tall or something like that.
He was of a greater stature. Right, but there's in a lot of Esau's representations, there's a lot of embellishment. Okay, but that word Nephilim or giants, they attribute that to fallen angels. You're not talking about that, right? Just so we can agree on the premise.
I was just saying
Because that's not true. That's not true. We can get all those words, because it's important to understand the etymology of those words and actually go to the origin of the word. That'll help you better understand context. All right? I just want to make sure I understand what your perception of that is. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, that was Nephilim and the giants. True, that angels came down and mingled with the seed of men and you know.
So y'all don't believe that?
No, of course not. That's like
an
embellishment on
fable.
There it is.
Devised fable.
Cunningly devised fables, brother. So one thing at a time, you said you want to know where it was written that things were excluded.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
2 Ezra 12, verse 35. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations.
Right, which the Lord, when he speaks these dreams, right? He speaks through men, visions, all right?
And oh, by the way, not to interject, I apologize. But you gotta also understand that the book is written in code. It's written in code. So sometimes the Bible just jumps. You be reading the precept and you be dealing with one time period, and right underneath that period, you be dealing with a totally different time period. That's why the scriptures say, real quick, let's segue just real quick so we can qualify that. You already know what I want in Isaiah. Precept upon precept, line upon line. This is not a novel. You don't read it cover to cover like it's a novel. Now, do you read entire chapter context and to understand what's going on within that time period? Absolutely. However, there is between each precept sometimes separation. Sometimes things are talking in a prophetic sense, but other times it's talking about right then and there in that time period. So the scriptures do jump, but it's written in that way.
So how are you able to distinguish
Through the Holy Spirit.
And actually
The Spirit instructs and guides us, and this is why you need to know words. Okay? Because you got to learn to line things up appropriately, and we're about to read that right now.
Isaiah 28 verse 9. Whom shall he teach knowledge?
Whom shall he teach knowledge? Right, that's the question. How are you supposed to know, this is aligning with this? And then, go ahead.
And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk.
So you got to get the milk first. There's information that you have to understand before you start to get to the heavier, weightier matters of the scripture, so you have a good, solid foundation. Because this book, no man can just come and interpret it in this book. People got this misconception. You can just come up and I'll pick up the Bible and I'll read it from back to back, front to cover, and I know everything. No, it don't work like that. You have to have the keys. Okay, and the keys that I'm referring to is the understanding which is only given to you through the Holy Spirit, which is literally ministering angels that work on your mind. You have to be given first and foremost the gift of faith. You have to have a belief in you that these words are true before you even really can unpack the deep mysteries of the Bible. You gotta be fully persuaded. I can't do that for you. I can give you the information that I have, but I can't actually open up your mind to receive the full understanding of this book. Only the Most High can do that. You know the Most High's name?
Yep. Oh, that's yep.
Most High's name is Yahweh. Hold on, brothers. Take it from here real quick.
Yeah, Most High Yahweh, which means he is or he exists. Nah, Yeshua is that's you saying like that's not Hebrew. That's a Yiddish. It's that's a German Slavic language mixed with like Hebrew characters and stuff. It's not pure Hebrew. When you look at Phoenician Hebrew, you have what we have, which is today we call it Lashon Kodash, the holy tongue, pure tongue, which the Lord would give us that back. Because you have it that we lost the name of the Lord. We lost knowing our identity, knowing our fathers, and knowing our history and stuff. And obviously Esau, who is the so-called white man, Edom, he played on that. And now you have it where a lot of us walk around confused. We don't know. We might identify as Africans, but when you go into it, yes, we were in Africa, but we are Israelites. In different time periods, like the brothers don't read it, Babylon said, but we fled out of Roman persecution into the western interiors of Africa. So places like Ivory Coast, Ghana, different places amongst like Nigeria.
Yep, Sierra Leone.
Israelites in Sierra Leone, like dudes like Akon and all that, Cameroon, Israelites are there, But you would have to go and try the spirit and see who they really are, because, they look like the people there, but, you got to go off of who got the actual spirit of the Lord, So go ahead. There's a lot of stumbling blocks out there with many books and reading many books, yeah.
It says, them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast.
Right, so the milk is the basics of the scriptures. You don't do the baby, meat, cook, so you give you the basics, and they build from there.
Yep.
Verse 11, verse 10, for precept must be upon precept,
right?
Precept upon precept.
If precepts are commandments, these different scriptures, right? Go ahead.
Line upon line.
Line upon line. So it's one verse on one verse. And if I want to make a point, I want to try to get at least four verses that actually conclude that is the truth.
Validates it. Validates our statement. Validates our statements. Yep.
Go
That's why every time you ask us a question, we go to a precept on it.
Dwells people according to our own mind.
Yep.
When we say according to the scriptures, and it's proper understanding.
Yep, yep. Not because they try to make it seem like it's a private interpretation. No, this is all guided in the spirit, you know.
That's right.
Line upon line, here a little, and there a little.
Yeah, that's why you see us bouncing around. We might go read this part of this verse, jump around to this part. It's all a piece of a puzzle.
Yep.
You know, but the Lord did give the understanding to his disciples, which have come back in a regeneration, back in the flesh, and we're here today. Lord willing, we are those men. We have to endure to the end. We'll see who really true prophets. But we believe we're the prophets coming back.
Yep.
You know,
because we don't really know that. That's why, like, you know, some people when Yahweh Shai said, you know, who do you think I am? They said, well, some think you're Isaiah, something, because they knew that there was reincarnation. They knew that prophets come back.
Yeah.
So we don't know that. We don't have the knowledge on that. We just if we are, we are, but we don't, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not important.
Yep.
Who I was in the past.
Yep.
What's important is I have the understanding now, and I've been given the responsibility and the duty to teach others.
That's right.
That's the only thing that matters. I don't like getting caught up if I was this man and that man.
Yep.
Because first of all, the Lord deprived us of that anyway. You know how simple Jake is. Us as a people, you think I ain't gonna wanna, you know, feel good about how I'm this man. And you know how Jake, first of all, you got bug out coming up talking about I'm this person.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the angel. I remember we had some bull come down Center City talking about I'm the angel of Philadelphia.
Yeah, right.
See, Jake be bugging sometimes, bro. So that's really not even that important. Plus, we humble men anyway. You know what I mean? Like, we gotta be. Because Jake gets simple, they get a little bit of info, and their head get huge, bro. Their head get big. So, if the Lord let us know about who we were, if we were the prominent men, specifically who we were, that get to our head. I'd rather not know, to be honest. I'd rather not know. You know, in Lord's will, I'm gonna be elect. Because at the end of the day, this thing is about the elect. It's not about the whole nation. The whole nation will be saved. The whole nation will be kings, princes, right? In the kingdom. We will rule over all the other nations. But there's a great destruction coming. Particularly here in Mystery Babylon the Great, which is America. In the scriptures, it's known as Mystery Babylon the Great. The Lord is only delivering an elect number out of this nation. Those are the only ones that are going to really truly understand this book, okay, and believe. But go ahead, brother.
1 Corinthians 14, verse 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
Yeah, which does basically mean that the different various spirits, remember, your body is nothing but a house full of spirits. So if a person was, say for example, this person was a prophet, then when he come back in his regeneration, when he come back in the flesh, the Lord gonna put him, that same spirit, in a new body, but it's the same person, same spirit.
Like reincarnation is not a Buddhist religion. Yeah. They understood that everything is regenerated over a process of recycling. Yeah. Okay, but the spirits are subject to that particular spirit. In other words, beasts, they have one spirit, man has another spirit. They're not recycled into each other. Respectively, that's recycled into whatever they were created and intended to be. Hence, the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. If you were a spirit in the past, if you rather were a prophet in a past life, you will be a prophet in this one. So the spirit, which is in man, is subject, meaning he's under the authority of whoever created him to be what the Lord made him. So this particular case, it's a prophet. You can't deviate from that. Look what Jonah tried to do. First of all, Jonah said, "The hell with this, and he got swallowed up by the big fish." Yeah, for 3 days. Yeah, well, they attribute it to a whale. We don't necessarily know if it was a whale, so we try to stay away from that. We just know it was a big. That's what they say though. It's a whale. But he tried to avoid his mission, and the Lord said, get back here. And that stirred his spirit up, and he was at that point compelled to do the work. See, that is a spiritual representation of us. So before we came into the truth, we're walking through life not knowing anything, you know, catching hell, being miserable, knowing that there's more, there's got to be more to this whole life than just getting up, going to work, you know, and going through that whole routine, that whole redundant routine, right? And I know that's true for a lot of brothers. you know, and in the process of that, you know, you might be seeking out different beliefs. You know, some brothers went into Islam, some brothers still trying to dab a little bit in different churches. Maybe you stopped with the whole denomination, you went non-denominational or whatever. You were still seeking, because in you knew that there was something else to life. There's something else, you know, here. And eventually what happened, each brother got their story, the Spirit entered into us and woke us up to men who actually have the truth. Our teachers, the apostles and elders, great millstone, we were introduced to them via the internet, whether it was through another man or we happened to be on YouTube one day, which YouTube did the amazing footwork for all this, and we were watching a video and we found out about the end times. We found out about Israelite. I didn't know what an Israelite was. Never even heard that term before I came into the faith. I just thought people were people, you had good people, you had bad people, right? That's all I knew. That was my understanding, right? You couldn't hate, which didn't even make any damn sense, right? Because of course, you have preferences, number one. Number two, there are certain things that are worthy of hate. And you have to learn that as a concept. Because you're always told, oh, you can't hate, hate shouldn't even be in your heart. Well, wait a minute. No, hate was created for a reason. It only becomes a problem when you misuse hate, right? But there is an intention and a purpose.
Hate the evil, love the good, the scripture says. Hate the evil.
So,
not to cut you off.
no, of course.
I'm ready to Jay. I need y'all brothers to leave me with two things.
Sure,
I need a verse.
That verse is that one something to watch on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, you put on our page.
Yeah, look up Great Millstone on YouTube. Specifically, look up Great Millstone Plaintables Philly. I get you. Oh, he said he wants a verse, so it's go in the spirit. Okay. We were reading a lot of different things.
I wanted to finish that, give that one.
Yeah, great
There you go.
millstone.
Get that one. We'll leave him with
Second
that.
Esdras 12
Give
and
me that.
37, that was?
Right.
Yeah, Second Esdras chapter 12, as I was reading, it says, I'll start at 35 again. Second Esdras 12 and 35. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. Thou only hast gained weak to know the secret of the highest.
And you're gonna find a lot of different.
Therefore, write all these things that thou hast seen in a book.
I need to cut you off. Please stop on the top
Yep.
of the level.
The second Esdras chapter 12 and 35. This is the dream that thou sawest, and these are the interpretations. Thou only hast been meet to know this secret of the highest.
See, this is a secret, right? The Lord divulged particular secrets to certain men. And that's the same thing with our prophets. Yep. Yeah, read that real quick. Read that real quick. Yeah.
Surely Yahweh God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets.
So the secrets are these different events that are about to take place. Most people, they have a sense that dangers on the horizon, but they don't know how to define something. An asteroid gonna take out Earth. Fire gonna rain from heaven somehow. You know, the sun's gonna implode. Right? They have all these different theories, right? Or the Lord's gonna come back, but their perception of the Lord coming back is totally misconstrued. We have that understanding. We have the secret. Go ahead.
It says, therefore write all these things that thou hast seen in a book, and hide them, and teach them to the wise of the people.
See, so you're only supposed to teach the wise of the people. After so many times, if you perceive a man has no understanding, if he's not sensible, right, you got to dismiss that guy. Because at that point, you're only wasting your time and his time, right? If you disagree with somebody, why am I going to sit here arguing with somebody who I disagree with? The Lord said that, can two walk together lest they be agreed? Right? Go on.
It says, whose heart thou knowest may comprehend and keep.
Yeah. Comprehend and keep. Now, keep doesn't necessarily just mean conceal. It means to apply. It means to apply. You understand the truth, and now you have a duty to fulfill these things. Go on.
Yeah, and it says, but wait thou here thyself yet 7 days more, that it may be showed thee whatsoever it pleases the highest to declare unto thee, and with that he went his way.
So can we hit the point?
Yeah, that's the point. That we believe that there were certain things that were taken out, hidden.
Oh, okay, yeah, that has been in the book.
In hiding.
And hide them. Cause I think there's another verse though.
Yeah, it's another one I think.
There's another verse where he specifically said.
Declare it to the people, but not with I tell within. Don't declare it. Yeah.
It specifically tells them to withdraw that particular information because it was only for Ezra. It was only for Ezra.
He says of these things write openly, but these other things don't write openly. Yeah.
Yes, of course. If you can't get it, this is the reason why you can't get it.
But there are certain, so just to make that point, there are certain things where we do conceal because we perceive in a person that they're not ready to hear it or they're not going to accept it. So this whole thing is again going back to a statement I made earlier about the elect. Those that can get it.
Is that like the 144?
No.
Beginning with the 144,000, but then you have another multitude, right, who are not necessarily ministers or prophets, but they're believers. They're believers, and they're going to take to this word. Go ahead. Go ahead and read it.
So it says, this second Ezra 14 and 45, and it came to pass when the 40 days were filled that the highest spake, saying, the words that thou hast written, published openly, that the worthy and the unworthy may read it.
Oh, see, and that's kind of to your point. Like, why is there this gap in time? Well, there's certain things that were written for the worthy and the unworthy. It's just like the reason why when Yahweh spoke, he spoke in parables. He said, well, why? You know, it's because it's given to you to understand these mysteries. Certain things are only given to the righteous men. Then there's certain things that everybody could read and, you know, make their own, you know, interpretation of it, basically.
But interpretation, it was written because the prophets are going to give them the interpretation.
There you go. Yep. There you go. Yep.
That's why certain things are written about other nations.
Yep.
Because this book is our book.
Yep.
This book is our instruction to the kingdom. For the other nations, we got to read them their judgment too. That's Jeremiah 1 and 5.
Yep.
So those things, they were meant to read it, but then we were meant to interpret it to you.
Yep.
Listen, Esau, Edom, that's you in the Bible.
Yep.
You're going into captivity. Real blooded Edomites are going into captivity. And that's how you know the difference between an Israelite man and a non-Israelite man, regardless of what he looks like. Because an Edomite is not going to believe this and stand there in the pouring rain professing the word of Yahweh and literally saying, that nation's not going to make it, that nation's not going to make it. If you a true Edomite, you're going to get the shit together and fucking, I don't know. Like the apostle said, put your head between your legs and kiss your ass goodbye.
Yep.
Because at that point, what else can you do? What else can you do? We're compelled to believe that this is the word, and this word has not been given to just anybody. Not even Israelites.
Yep.
Not even Israelites. Least of all the other nations. Read that. Go. He has to finish that.
And it says, but keep the 70 last, that thou mayest deliver them only to such as be wise among the people. For in them is the spring of understanding, the fountain of wisdom, and the stream of knowledge. And I think so. And then I think it's another scripture in Daniel that talks about how
Right. So, go ahead, man. Go on.
Isaiah 28 verse 11. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith they may cause the weary to rest. Because, you know, our people going around to Islam, to all these other different philosophies trying to find rest. Because they weary. He said, this is the rest where we call the weary to rest. So this is the rest. This information that we're giving you right now is going to put you at rest.
Yeah, your soul. Really, your soul.
Yeah. It said, and this is the refreshing that they would not hear.
Damn.
But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken. So if you can't get this word, then the Lord placed a stumbling block before you so you can be destroyed here in Babylon.
Yep.
And all those that take heed to this word and turn back from the old man and worship Yahweh Shah, they 9 times out of 10 they're going to be delivered. You're not going to find no rest nowhere else. Nowhere else has a savior coming to deliver him from the hand of our enemies.
Yeah, we need a savior, man. We need to be around from our troubles. From the period of slavery all the way until now, our people are suffering at the hands of a particular nation. All right? We are. That's why our people are the ones collectively in the ghettos, in fucked up, man. We fucked up. All right, our diets are messed up. All right, our way of thinking is messed up. Our people want to incline themselves to black culture, which is nothing more than death. And that's all at the behest of this Edomite. He's the one where he's literally built private prisons, specifically set up our people in the music industry to talk about killing one another so that they can build a prison. That's why the biggest music, they'll talk about what is misinformation, disinformation, what's acceptable on different social platforms, but they'll let, excuse my face, brother, niggas get on the fucking YouTube and talk about killing one another.
And bitches too.
Oh yeah! What's that dumb Doja the cat? This bitch talking about I'll paint the town red. Talking about she a rebel, she's a bad little bitch, she's a devil. That's the shit that's hot right now. Women literally exalting evil. Calling themselves demons, which they are demons, but they applying a good sense to that word as if that's something to aspire to. That's the problem. That's why our people are such fucking degenerates.
Yep.
A lot of our people, they're the ones fucking subscribing to that LGBTQ.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden, these little girls, 13, 14, I'm a lesbian.
Yep. Look at that dude, Lil Nas X, all the wickedness he was doing. Yeah, you know, literally twerk on Satan, basically. You know,
And then he came out. All this time later, I ain't gay. I just did it for the. Then why'd you do that?
Yep.
Like, how many millions of people done saw you did that? And this is what it's all psychological warfare.
What's that?
See, we not in physical change no more, right? And I'm an Ephraim. I'm a tribe, so-called Puerto Rican. All right. Just so you know, if you were wondering, and that's my biological brother too. Good brother. That's my biological brother. Right? So. This is psychological warfare. The physical chains done came off, but we are in a spiritual war where we are being attacked mentally every day. They want our people sedated on drugs. They want our people sedated on the music, on film, on entertainment, on the politics, the dichotomy between so-called left, right, progressive, liberal, conservative, all that nonsense. And our people are falling right for the trap. They eat it up like candy, man. You know, and look at the diet of our people. Flaming hot fucking Cheetos, Takis, fucking Moroccan ramen noodles. That's all GMO shit. Those are chemically altering your brain.
Yep.
50-cent burgers, 50-cent.
Yeah.
Pork chop.
You know Jake chopping on a diet, so they exploit that. Go get yourself the fucking cheap. Yeah, man.
Get it while it's hot.
Yeah, bro. Salaki, I done a lot.
Ecclesiasticus 39 verse 24. And his ways are plain to the holy.
Right, so the Lord's way is actually plain to the holy. Those are the set apart. Starting with the elect prophets, and then the rest of the remnant believers, men, women, and children that are Israelites. Yep.
So are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked.
Damn.
And so are they stumbling blocks to the wicked, where the wicked won't be able to understand the truth, what we preach.
Listen to that white boy standing around
They don't know what they talking about.
He wouldn't say
They
that in
young
the
men.
hood. He wouldn't go here and say that shit.
Yeah.
That's like they're not even spiritual at all.
Yeah.
Right? Every brother here, because they got the Spirit of the Lord working with them, and we believe in this message and putting it out there in hopes that the Lord will deliver us and destroy us, not us, destroy this kingdom. Slip of the speed, Satan. Destroy this kingdom. All right, because that's the main two things that the Lord is coming to do: is to deliver the elect and destroy the wicked. And the wicked is even 2/3 of the nation of Israel. All right.
We're wicked, excellent neighbors, and that's pretty much it. The most important thing is you know the names of the Lord.
Yeah, Yahweh's the name.
Yahweh, the Most High. He the Ancient of Days.
Yep.
Yahweh. He is good. He's always been here. Right?
Alpha and Omega, yeah.
Yeah, period. No beginning, no end.
Which, hey, I'll say this: the Lord will destroy us if we teach not this gospel.
Right.
The Lord said, "Woe unto me."
If I preach not the
So
gospel.
that's true. That's true. The Lord will destroy us if we don't do this. That's real talk. You know, because that's how serious this is. Proverbs 4 tells you that this is a life or death, literally. You know.
I ain't gonna hold y'all up.
No, not you. Not holding us up.
Nice talking to you. I appreciate that. I got the
Yeah,
joint.
yeah.
I'm gonna actually go back and I'm gonna watch it.
All right.
The videos on the icons
Yep.
too on that page.
Yeah. I don't know what your original question was, but
About King James and
oh well, yeah.
I had a couple questions, but y'all actually basically, gave me a different perspective on it. Now I'm gonna go back and do a little research.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying, and see if everything line up.
It says seek out your own salvation, right?
Right.
You know?
He got to be. He in the spirit
Yep.
of the spirit of the men of the church in Berea.
Yep.
He got to search the scriptures and say whether this was true or
Yep.
not.
Yep.
That's it. That's good.
That's how I do.
Yeah, you can't take for our word for it.
Yeah, you gotta look it up for yourself.
But
But
that's
that
it.
kind of brought me back to y'all, and then I'm like, dang, well, let me research a little bit more.
Yep.
I appreciate
Yeah,
y'all.
you got it, man.
Do you know what the mark of the beast is, bro? You know what the mark of the beast is?
666.
No, number.
Well, that's the number, but the actual mark of the beast is
mark.
the chip, the RFID microchip.
It tells you not to take it. Yeah.
Don't
Yep.
take that. When they implement that chip and want to put it in your body, in your hand or your forehead or anywhere in your body, they're gonna make it mandatory because it's gonna be the new way of financing,
Yeah, I
the
see
way
it
you
coming. I watch
authenticate
the
your identity,
technology, trying to
everything. Yeah, they gonna want that, and they want everybody to be in subjection to the system via that chip, that mark,
Yep.
right? Which
Yep.
it goes in your body. That
Yep.
incision. Don't take that. So that's it. All right.
What is it,
Finally,
shalom?
Shalom. Yeah. Shalom. Shalom.
Peace. Yep.
Shalom.
Yeah, so edification come out, a lot of people still don't think that people coming out to the camps to inquire, people are coming out. We on a new
In the pouring rain.
yeah, we're on a new corner. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, last week we had whatever little instance with a weirdo.
Yeah, he specifically said that, not to cut you off, but he specifically said that he was, kind of listening to it, and he got turned off, and then he seen us, and now, like, that's almost like the, and right now, like, you really got to get it now, because, like, if you bucked up against this before, maybe you had that Paul spirit, and now you're starting to realize that things are starting to heat up again. Now, you got to get with it now, because if you keep putting it off from day to day, you're going to find out that the Lord's, you're going to come and shut that door on you, that mercy seat is closing. So you're having a lot of people waking up and saying, you know what, a couple of years ago, I was, talking shit against this. Now I'm starting to realize that things are heating up. What they're saying isn't so much bullshit no more, But go ahead, slug it.
And then, like I said, a lot of people just, like, they see, like, the typical Jake out there seem like they gonna get cussed out. Basically, they running from getting cussed out. Hey, you ain't gonna get cussed out until we basically have a discourse with you.
Yep.
So you go and speak what you have to speak.
Yep.
And then we'll give you the edification, the building up, and the clarification of what needs to be cleared up.
Yep.
Like he don't know about what Africa
Yep.
and how we're not Africans.
Right.
Yep.
See,
And,
man,
and the thing,
yeah.
and the thing too is he was sincere with his questions, right?
Yeah.
So he like some guys come up with questions, but they're not sincere at heart. They're trying to get an angle on us. They already know the answer we're gonna give them, so they're already trying to, I already know what they're gonna say. So I'm gonna wait till they say that answer. I'm gonna trip them up on it. That's all. Yeah. But you can tell that his question was sincere. He had knowledge of what he had knowledge of on Africa, and we, taught him that,
Gave a little.
and he listened. He took it all in. He did what you're supposed to do, man. You ask the questions, right?
Yeah, and that's it. It's good that, because people are listening. They specifically listen to the details. Like, like I said, he's like 4 sons. Like, no. I said, Ham is 3 sons of Noah, and 4 sons came out of Ham.
Yep.
Being Put, Cush, and Canaan, and Mizraim. Yeah, so they listen to details. So it pushes brothers to be also studious on your answers and be on point. Because, like I say, more people gonna flood us. They gonna flood the block. And we gotta have the answer, the proper right doctrine, rightly dividing the word of truth. Give me the right name of the Lord. He's saying Yeshua. No, Yahweh Shai, for of course the Son of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh for the Heavenly Father. All right. It's not Yahweh for the Heavenly Father. It's Yahweh. All right. It's not Yeshua for Yahweh Shai. I repeat that again. All right, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, in the name of Yahweh Shai, Bashem HaKodesh, name is Spirit Holy. All right, so yeah, go ahead, whatever y'all got. You said you got 3 seconds. Go ahead.
I go back to what Simon was explaining to the brother, how we look different. This is Hosea 7 and 8. Ephraim, and Devon said it himself. Ephraim has mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. Meaning that we got light-skinned people, like Simon was explaining himself, and we got dark-skinned people, but we all come from a dark man, which is Yahweh. So that's how people are confused anyway.
Yeah, we came out of the wood of Judah, and like I said, like me, like I'm an Ephraimite, and I came out, I'm darker, darker hue.
My father himself is darker,
Yeah.
than myself and my brother, My grandfather had a straight hair, but really dark, just like Muslim.
Yeah.
But it's not even about appearance.
Yeah,
It's
that-
not even
it's-
about that. Like you had the dude that appeared like a Moab, and he even came and looked. He like, what's that?
Yep.
You know, but it's good we got the sign. You can see what it is. And then, like I said, we make the clarification. We've been scattered.
Yep.
So we amongst them.
Oh, so let's get that. Let's get that. We call for it. I don't think we're ready. Deuteronomy 28:64.
Yeah.
Can I get this real quick?
Yes, sir.
Jeremiah 12 verse 9. My heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about it are against her. Come ye assemble all the beasts of the field. Come to devour.
Yeah, so you know, being variegated, having different in colors and such. The Israelites come in different hues, right? Different appearances, different facial structures, etc. Because we've been scattered and stuff.
Yep.
You know, you might have a Jake. He looking like a Cambodian and stuff, right? Because you had Jake Israelites in what, Vietnam?
Oh yeah.
And what, they was getting down with them Vietnamese women, all right? And what? Having a seed and what? Now you got these Israelites looking like they be you be seeing them out in Island and wherever you might see them. You know, they got the same spirit as an Israelite, so-called Negro Latino American, all right? But they look like the heathen, right? They look like a so-called Chinese person and stuff, but they wearing bandanas, sagging their pants and just dancing and all type of that, like just seeming like a person that like him, looking like dark skin, you know? Yeah, go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people.
Right, so the Lord would scatter us, meaning there was a diaspora, there was a scattering amongst us, amongst all the nations, right? Why? Mainly for our disobedience, all right? The Lord put us and spewed us out the land, you know, and have us in these nations, all right? But when you're across the other nations, what? What are you gonna do? What is the man gonna do? You think he gonna sit there and not deal with these women? Them women gonna come approach you too. You know, when I'm in Glasgow in Scotland, what do you think the Scottish women is doing? I never. Oh, they curious, you know. Or you got Hamites that come over there and they'll deal with the Scottish or whatever. Because remember, they got different asylums. So you got all type of stuff that's going on. But you got to try the spirit by the spirit. Yep, go ahead.
From the one end of the earth even unto the other.
Right. All over, from both hemispheres. Okay? All over the earth, of course, Israelites have been scattered. All right? So you can't just say, oh, the Israelites are just here, or just there. No, we're everywhere.
Right. Get James 1:1 from there.
Yep. James 1:1, right by younger.
Yep.
And there thou shalt serve other gods,
Yep.
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known,
Yep.
even wood and stone.
Yeah, and we would worship other different gods, idols, okay, that were created, okay, such as
And that's the primary reason why the Lord didn't want us to intermingle with these nations. Because Jake was going to succumb and be seduced by the ways of those heathen nations, primarily through the woman that they was dealing with.
Yep.
Right? That made way for Israel to go off even further. So now I separate you from this land. You know, I put you in this captivity, and now you're following the gods of those people.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how they became defiled.
Yep.
That's how they became strangers. That's how they became Gentiles.
Yeah.
It wasn't just through physical appearance. It was through philosophy too. All right? Hence, later on in time, the circumcision and the uncircumcision. Right? And neither one of them was correct. Neither one of them, you had circumcision, which had the traditions and understood some of the laws, but they weren't keeping the laws. So they were equally as guilty as those that were without the law, who didn't subscribe to being an Israelite of the traditions of the fathers of the law. They were all basically in a heathenistic state. You know? But through their intermingling and through the process of time, it's also true that their appearance had been altered. You know, they weren't going to be looking like traditional Israelites anymore. Okay, we on? Serve other gods?
Wood and stone, and that, you know, represent, Jesus Christ, right? And, you know, obviously different idols, Islam, all right? These are the philosophies.
Right, the two primary religions that people follow, mainly Israel, is Christianity and Islam.
And that stone is the Kaaba stone. Right? That's inside of Mecca. They go around every year and make a pilgrimage to Mecca. They go there every year to make pilgrimage and walk around that stone a certain amount of time.
What's the other precept?
James 1:1.
It's James 1 verse 1. James, a servant of Yahweh
Yep.
and of the Lord Yahweh Shai,
The Lord, true name is Yahweh in the Hebrew, and his only begotten son name is Yahweh Shai. Right? That's in the Hebrew. Proper. Go ahead.
to the 12 tribes
To
which
the 12 tribes, us so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Americans are the Israelites. We have different tribes. Go ahead.
which are scattered abroad,
Which are scattered abroad, which we are scattered across the four winds, across all the different cardinal directions. Go ahead.
greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it. The point. The point is that the 12 tribes scattered abroad, all over the world. Okay, so, hey, you got it. How we look for them? We at the camp and we use the word. That's how the gathering is going together.
Right.
Through the word. Okay, that's how the nation. What's that? Zechariah 2:1 or Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves, O nation that not desire. Yeah, find that one. Okay, the gathering is coming together via the word. All right.
Third chapter.
It's another one of Isaiah. Okay, Isaiah 8. Let's see. So get that and then Isaiah 8. Go ahead.
Zephaniah 2 verse 1.
Yep.
Gather yourselves together, yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Yeah, us. Remember, Yasha Allah, though we have 12 tribes, we are one nation. One great nation, the best nation on the earth, Yasha Allah, which we showed him the table of the Gentiles.
We're such a big nation, brother, that we're basically nation inside of a nation.
Yeah.
So each tribe could be considered a nation in of itself.
Yeah. Well, it says Israel's like the sand of the sea. It can't be measured nor numbered, man. We Israel big, man.
Right? Yep. Did also, I think it was Isaiah 8.
And pushing the spirit of us being Israelites is extremely important because these Edomites and other top ruling elite are doing everything they can to cut us off from being a nation. They're literally destroying us, okay, psychologically, like we were going into before. So they're trying to do everything that they can to separate us from us being that nation of Israel. Because once we acknowledge we're the Israelites, we're going to be inclined to serve our power once again, right? The Lord told the angels to hold back the destruction until he seals the servants. So once the Lord, okay, allows the servants to awaken to the fact that they're Israelites and they repent and they start calling on his name again, what you think is going to happen next? And that's exactly the thing that the elites don't want. They don't want to lose their power. They don't want to lose their peace. That's why they're scrambling, trying to put together this NWO and execute, you know, the different parts that they want to put into play to keep us in the captivity. Brother mentioned it earlier, to try to get us to be a part of that system via the Seminole. And that's exactly what it is. You know, now they're talking about how they might have to shut down the government again. Remember, we had a
government shutdown?
we had a government shutdown.
They
right
was
before.
trying to come back. Yeah, open the government back.
Yeah. And you know, it caused a lot of issues, caused a lot of problems. A lot of people didn't get paid. A lot of people were missing meals, not paying bills. And that was just a small sample of what's to come. They might shut that shit down for months. And then from there a collapse, and from there, right?
And that shows that this society, it shows that this society is a facade because they had GoFundMes for all those employees, you know what I'm saying? You would think that somebody that's working for the government, they would be, you know what I mean, at least well off to some degree, but after a few weeks, they was done, man.
Yeah, you see mainly that people, they like just one check, not even a check away from basically financial ruin. You know, they don't have no savings in that account. They don't have $600 laying around or thousands, etc. You know, most people just live in paycheck to paycheck, especially us Israelites. Also, Isaiah 28:18. You got
I
something?
forgot the one
Yeah, go ahead.
That's Joel chapter 3, verse 2.
Yeah.
I will also gather all nations
Yeah.
and will bring them down to the valley of the
The House
Jehoshaphat.
Shaphat. Yeah, the Most High judgment. All right, which is over there in the Middle East. All right. You know, in that Levant area. Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people.
Yeah, the Lord gonna bring the judgment to the nations. All right, and we're on brink of that World War III. All right, you just say that beginning process is going there, that the nations pretty much getting roused up. You know, and different skirmishes and proxy wars are going on in there. You know, and then all of a sudden, like I say, hey, the Lord, it's gonna be the Lord second coming. It's gonna be, you're gonna see nuclear missiles being shot off. You're gonna see people getting drafted and sent over there. You know? Yeah. Go ahead.
And for my heritage Israel.
Yeah, for my heritage Israel. Got a controversy, you know? And the Lord is gonna actually bring that answer. Okay? And he wants judgment to be, of course, what? Executed for all the sins have reached the heavens. All right? The Lord, he got to bring a payback. He'll repay both the good and the evil. All right? That's done. Okay? He's going to bring all of that into judgment. Yeah.
Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Yep. And they parted the land. They parted the land of Israel. All right? Over 1940 acres. Okay? Esau, you know, you go to the Balfour Declaration and such, 1948, and they partitioned it. Okay, and you have it. They got a war. They got a war over there with two people that's not even the people. You got Palestinians. So they call themselves Palestinians. All right, they really are Ishmael. Okay, and you. All right, you know we know who they call themselves. Okay, they call themselves us, but they're not us. We are, of course, the true people of the Lord. All right. Yeah. It was good. Did that? That's it. All right, so that Isaiah 28,
29.
29, Slakia. Yep.
Isaiah 29, verse 18.
There's another one in Baruch that talk about the Lord would gather us by the word. If y'all can find that. Go ahead.
Isaiah 29, verse 18. And in the day shall the deaf hear the words of the book.
Right, the deaf, you know, and we are as the deaf, not being able to hear or understand the truth. That's why the scriptures say, for what it say? For men that have a ear, let
Obscurity.
read and see out of the confusion. Okay, the eyes of the blind, the elect out of course, the nation of Israel be able to see out of this confusion, this gross darkness that's here in Babylon the Great and wherever you've been scattered to. Because of the Edomites, you have all this confusion. Everything is turned upside down. All right, go ahead.
And out of darkness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Verse 19, the meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord.
Yes, and that's the humble. You know, most important, you want to be of the meek. All right, you want to be of the humble. All right, you want to be might. You know, little. You know, as like Paul. All right, Ainah, right, which going to meek. All right.
And the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel.
Yes, and we will, of course, rejoice in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And you seeing that right now. You know, by us declaring the word, you know, we doing this truth. The Lord is happy when angels are happy when one can learn about this truth, you know, come back, repent. You know, it's a blessed thing. Like I mean, like I said, yeah, when I seen the dude on the other side just now, he seemed like me. Like when I first looked into the Israelites and stuff, because at first, you look at, my mom told me, look into my heritage, and then you hear about this, oh, you African and all this other stuff, but then they talk about, wait, hold up, these people are really Israelites. And that's where I end up seeing the different groups, seeing who the right group, and I seen what the truth is. And the truth is that great millstone. All right, with the true prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, starting with apostles and elders of great millstone. They got the truth, everything lined up. Like he said, I'm going to go see if it line up. Right? Truth, add. Right? Go ahead.
Because now he has actual right information to compare it to.
Yeah.
Before that, he didn't have it.
Yep. You'll have it. Like I said, you could go to some of these other groups and you get this confusion and stuff. They'll say if you were African, automatically you're not an Israelite, but you had the scattering. What's up with that? You know, crazy. You got Jake over there. You got some Jake Nigerians and stuff. They got more flavor than Jake over here and stuff. But they the same people. You know, same spirit. Okay. Simple as that, you know, and when you travel, you see many things. Most of you these Israelites, they never been nowhere and seen different people and how they act in different places. It's good when you start to see the world. You can see the world on your phone too. They got documentaries, enlighten yourself, okay? You don't have to be there, right? You can just look at what's going on here. Do documentaries. You got dudes, YouTubers, vloggers, they'll show you how it is, you know? See why you're not accepted. You go over there as a Israelite and see you in another nation in Africa and see how them different people might not accept you. Why? Because you Israel. Simple as that. They can sense that spirit on you. Go ahead.
Verse 20.
Yeah.
I'll let you read that, but I just wanted to actually give because the brother said he's probably going to check back to the video.
Okay.
So I want to actually give him the source material.
Okay.
This is something that Gabar Yahweh had brought out in Hawaii. Not the most recent time he was in this summer, but last summer. And he shared this with some of the brothers. And I still remember this, but this is what I was referencing, because if King James was all these vile things that they so-called claim that he is, and again, that's just a sad attempt to demonize the scriptures, right? Then why would he write these private letters to his son on how to be a man? I mean, he talks about manly responsibility, virtue, right? He talks about virtue, all right? Behavior in daily life. So doesn't that seem like a major contradiction? On one hand, you got people claiming that he's this, he's that, he was a homosexual, he was all these different abominable things, but yet in his private life, he's instructing his son in well-doing, which is all based upon the scriptures, which he gave the authorization for the translation of. What do you think seems more plausible?
Yep.
What do you think seems more plausible?
Also,
remember, these are private publications that they got a hold of. Oh, he wrote a letter to his son and instructed him on how to be, wise, how to be honorable, how to be respectable. So what do you think makes more sense, man?
If I can add too, why would he translate something that is at direct variance against all that stuff, right? Why would you try to translate something that's going to be pushed in a language that more people could be, exposed to? If it's going to, basically, demonize you, right? Because a lot of the laws in the book would have been against what they're supposedly saying that, he was doing, right? So why would you authorize a translation like that?
King James came out of Stuart lines, man.
So this is called the Basilicon Doran. Is a treatise on government written by King James VI of Scotland, who would later also become James I of England in 1599.
Yep.
Okay, and this means royal gift. Basilicon Doran, royal gift. I'm going to show you the little excerpt out of Wikipedia. Let's see how good we can get it on camera.
If you stay right there, I should be able to. Hold on, wait. Bring it back a little bit. There we go, I'll focus in.
And brothers can actually read the transcripts and see how what he wrote in there. All right.
All right.
So this challenges this notion that King James was some sort of wicked guy and he translated the Bible. Yeah. Like, and the brother made a good point. He translated it. He knows that the scriptures condemn those actions.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So then, if that was the case, then he was rebuked scripturally.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
And he didn't tamper with it.
Yeah.
He let it ride. No, that's right.
Which shows you what Esau really does. Because Esau is actually now Esau is tampering with it. He's got certain Bibles that take out certain scriptures, certain translations take out that stuff,
Bro, you got
that's
these
what a real Edomite
does.
does.
Even Jake's trying to say, oh, that's not, when it says man shall not lie with mankind, it's not talking about homosexuality.
Wow.
They just totally denying altogether the words that are right in there.
That's straight. You can't deny that. That's straightforward.
They attempted to.
Go to Hebrew,
because they're vile. They're vile.
Yep.
The things that are worthy of contempt and shame are now upheld in this society in high esteem.
Yep.
And the things that are, worthy of high esteem or actually respectable because they stand on principle, biblical principle, those are the things that are shamed. Those are the things that are looked at as shameful and frowned upon, and
Yeah, like you said, the notion is to be wicked. Like that's glorified. The more wicked you are, the more glorified you are.
Yeah, just like that Doja Cat song.
Yep.
She's a rebel. She's a bad little bitch. Now, in any other sense, if a bitch is called a bitch, she gonna have a problem with it, right? And if we analyze those three words, a rebel, a bitch, and a devil, ain't none of those endearing Those are not endearing terms. Those are not things to aspire to, man.
Yep.
These people are fucking base.
Yep.
They're demonic. They're evil. And that's the shit that they want to listen to. And that's the shit they want to sing. And that's the fucking, those are their role models. Those are the people that they look up to. We come along, we condemn that, and we are evil. We are hateful. We're disgusting. We're shameful. That's why these people got to be destroyed. There's nothing redeemable. No redeemable quality. They're all set for destruction. And rightfully so. This place is filthy. The Lord said, you know, set a mark on them that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst of them. All right? So hopefully we have that Dabaq. That's what the word mark means in that scripture. Ezekiel 9. We hope that we have the Dabaq, that exemption from judgment, because we hate this place. Fucking hate this place. We hate these people. We hate the behaviors of these people. We hate these different agendas Esau trying to push forward. This ain't our rest. This place got to go, man.
We even hate who we used to be.
Oh, yeah. Shit, I hate this flesh that I'm in now.
Yep.
Every day, every day.
I got one, I guess.
Oh, hold on.
Isaiah 29, verse 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught,
Yeah, Esau.
and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off.
Yeah. I mean, that's what, hey, you gonna have that, man. The Lord gonna cut off all that wickedness. You know? He gonna cut off the terrible one, Esau Edom, the vile man. Okay? Lord gonna cut off the rule and put out the light of the wicked. All right? And that's very soon. All right? You just want to be a part of that, you know, that mercy. You know, that mercy that the Lord gonna delve out to the elect. You know, by being covered by the blood of Yahweh Shai. Not Yeshua, Yahweh Shai. All right? We you know, of course, call on Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh Shai. All right? Important that brothers know the names of the Lord.
In Acts,
Yeah.
there's only one name given among men by we must be saved.
Yep.
Yeah. Because he came up. Yep. Huh?
It's good.
Of course.
Yeah, if he
I'm a
retains that
master.
name and he asks for understanding, brother, if you're listening to this, you know, whatever time you get to it, Lord's will in the spirit, if you call upon those names, Yahweh, we say Yahweh because that's the true name of the Heavenly Father.
Yep.
As the brother keeps mentioning, we're going to keep mentioning it. We also say Ba Hashem. Ba means in, Ha means the, Sham means name. So what we're saying when you put it together is the Most High, which is Yahweh, Ba Hashem, in the name Yahweh Shai, which means deliverer, he deliverer, okay, or he saves. That's the name of the only begotten Son that sitteth at the right hand. If you truly, sincerely, and I want James, if you truly, sincerely ask for understanding, the Lord will give it to you.
Not upbraided.
Right. Because the Lord give it to all men liberally, okay?
Right.
But you got to ask in a sincere manner. You got to be sincere in your endeavor.
Yep.
But if you call on the right names, the Spirit, before you even understand really what the Spirit is, you're going to be guided to certain things, and the questions that you had answers to is going to pop up. Whether you open up the book and you read it,
Yeah.
and you get the understanding, or you hear a brother say it on video. Oftentimes it's going to be, you were thinking something, and you click on a random video, and that random video that you realize wasn't so random,
Yeah.
because it's all calculated through the Spirit, had the answer to the question that you were just thinking,
Yeah.
or prior. And that's the way the Spirit moves. Because why? Man's goings are of the Lord. How then can a man understand his own way? So the Lord can instruct you in righteousness and in the faith, and to build up, build you up. Or the Lord can continue to send you that delusion and lead you down that path of destruction. But that's all up to the Lord. All up to the Most High. That's why the Most High is so scary. He's the one that ultimately is chosen our fate. From the beginning. It's all predestination.
Yep.
You know? But just for the brother, call on the name Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, be sincere, be earnest too. Right? This thing is about endurance. Okay? It's about still doing it even when it gets rough, it gets hard, you have adversity, people that, coming up against you, it almost seems like random.
Yeah.
You know, you start changing your lifestyles and people want to condemn you for it. Why would you give those things up? Those things make you happy. The same things that make you happy are not necessarily suitable for life, okay? You got to separate the difference between what is good and what feels good, because what feels good isn't always good. All right? That's the reality. People are dealing with emotions, they're dealing with senses, and they don't realize that that's not a good way to govern yourself. All right? If you want to know what definitively is right and wrong and good and bad, you need to go back to the scriptures. And if you don't understand something, you got to go to the men that do understand the scriptures, and they'll give you the understanding on it. Okay, so you could properly live a life that is acceptable in the sight of our power, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua.
Something may feel good, but it may not be expedient at that particular time.
That's true also. Well. That's true also, right. And you can't go to Esau, because Esau's system is just codes and total deception. No, it's just total deception. Right? He casteth the words of the Most High behind him. He goes out of his way to break the law. Moral and what sound and I digress. Go ahead.
James 1 verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Heavenly Father, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him.
And that's just what we were saying. You gotta pray earnestly, sincerely, and you gotta constantly endure. You gotta make the effort continually. You know, despite controversy, adversity, you know, your own thoughts can get in the way. You know, so you experience those things as you work towards your understanding of these different, you know, biblical, you know, instructions and, you know, applying the wisdom that you're learning. Don't be surprised. It's good to say, right? Think it no strange thing. What the fiery start. Well, there's two. There's one in Peter's, and then with Ecclesiastes.
One
to rock 2. Yeah.
the one in Peter?
Whichever one comes first. Whichever one you get first. They're both.
1 Peter 4 verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you.
Right, the fiery trial, or in other words, the test. The Lord sends tests your way, all right, ultimately to qualify your integrity. Yeah, your loyalty, your commitment, you know, your heart. The word integrity means honesty. You're really honest. You're sincere in what you're doing, ultimately, right? A lot of Israelites are not really sincere. You know, they have self-serving agendas, money, right? Quick way to fame. A lot of people built themselves up through the ministry. You know, they built brands off of the ministry, bro.
Yeah.
Monetizing videos, breakdowns. Those aren't even a breakdown. Yeah. Yeah, they're the Israelites that are just doing too damn much.
Yep.
You know? Go ahead.
1 Peter 1 verse 4.
Go into the word fiery, please, too, Dabaq. Read it. Somebody look it up in the blue letter, fiery.
1 Peter 4 verse 12. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as though some strange things happen unto you.
Yeah. What's an example of that? Maybe you go to sit down and look into these things, you have a whole bunch of distractions. Phone will stop ringing off the hook. You got a woman who's nagging you about something. You got children they need attention, they need, you know, to be entertained. They're crying in the background, like daddy, you know, doing whatever. You maybe got neighbors that are being loud and obnoxious. It's causing you to not be able to focus, right? Now, when you're first learning, those things can, you know, interfere with your learning, interfere with your ability to focus and to concentrate. to a more seasoned brother, it's not necessarily a fiery trial, right? But to when you first in this thing, it's like, man, what the hell? I got noise, right? You can't fucking sit still because you got all this shit going on. You're trying to focus on the work. You're just trying to focus on gaining the knowledge. So for you, it's a fiery trial because you got to learn to be disciplined and block all that shit out, right? You start laying down boundaries because you begin in that transformation process. Listen, y'all settle down, man. And I don't want to hear nothing from you, you know? You got to start becoming uncomfortable with where you were uncomfortable, you got to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, is what I'm trying to say, right? Because you're starting to learn principles. You're starting to learn the fundamental skills as a man. You learn to become a man in this truth, man. To handle business, right? The right way. You don't let your emotions control you no more, right? You got to rethink how you behave, how you interact. Code of conduct. Go ahead, Ox.
I got a word.
Fiery? Absolutely not.
It's calamities or trials that test the character. Calamities or trials that test the character.
The character,
The
right?
character.
Your character, meaning the quality of person in which you are. So your patience gets tested, right? Mainly your patience. Now the word patience means to have the quality to suffer, right? So think it no strange thing, right? Don't think it odd, because that's how the Lord deals. That's how he deals, right? And he's really purging you into that new man you are to become. That's what it is. It's a test, you know? Fiery trial, or fiery test. Calamity, right? Maybe your freaking bathroom gets flooded. Right? And it's like, man, what the hell?
How did this happen? How the hell this happened? It wasn't a week.
Right. You might start to think, man, what?
Your arm just started hurting out of nowhere. Wake up sick, can't move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might start to think negative, like, whoa, what's going on? Why am I being like attacked? Yeah, you are. That's exactly what it is. And then we got to link it up with Sirach too. Then go ahead, brother, finish that. But don't be surprised when you see an acceleration of like bad, or what seemingly is bad things happening to you. Because it's the Lord putting the fire to you, bro. Lord literally putting the fire to you.
Baptize you with fire.
Yeah, that's it, brother. Baptizing you with fire. And that's a necessary part of this faith. That's how you grow. You grow through those adversities. You grow through those challenges. The Lord is making you a better man to serve him. That's what the Lord wants. You know? Too many jakes that caught up in these ways of life, so they're like on easy mode, even though they're still hell. They're still being, you know, wicked, right? They're still doing the things of the world, not realizing that they're about to be destroyed. But they got those different creature comforts, where our comfort is this word. So when we run into trouble, we will revert back to the comfort of the scriptures, or the brotherhood, right? Which is all still a part of that same cornerstone, which is Yahushua. You know, having the brotherhood at our disposal, having the scriptures to comfort us, you know, because we go in a different way. Remember, there's only one way, brothers. That's through Yahuwah and Yahushua. It's very narrow, right? Only one can go in at a time. That's how this walk is, brothers. It's a position of difficulty, because the Lord, again, is purging you. But remember, when you have that fire, that's a motivator. It's a motivator to stay on track. It's a motivator to do the right thing. It keeps your mind occupied in the right things, in prophecy, in the end times, in deliverance. If you had nothing happen to you, you wouldn't be concentrated on your salvation. You'd be complacent. Look up that word. Like when people get into these different warehouse jobs, when they finally master the forklift, they just start fucking having tunnel vision. They don't really mind that there's still, you know, obstructions and obstacles and, you know, dangers, right? So they let their guard down. Like if brothers ever rode like stand-up forklift, you see the people, they're riding in that thing like they're riding in the back of the car, you know, limiting their visibility. They get complacent, and then all of a sudden they hit a rack or a person, right? Somebody lose a limb.
Yep.
You're like, damn, I shouldn't have let my guard down. Yeah, well, that's our spirit. We can't. Our head is on the swivel at all times. Be circumspect. Why? The days are evil. Go ahead, bro. I said a lot. Go ahead.
You want the definition for complacent?
Yeah. I was telling them, but go ahead.
Yeah. Complacent in the Google, showing a smug or uncritical satisfaction with oneself or one's achievement.
A little bit more on that.
That's it.
A smug, yeah. You just become proud, right? They have confidence in a plain way, you know, if they acquire skill and ability, they think that they're invincible. They think that they're untouchable. That's the simpleness of the flesh.
In the Anti-Man, it says self-satisfied.
Yep. So we can't be in a complacent spirit. All right. We want to satisfy the Lord, and sometimes, actually, really, all of the time, that means that you got to give certain things up. Right? He that findeth his life shall lose it.
Yeah.
He that loseth his life for my sake
shall
find it.
Have life eternal.
Life eternal. Yep. And that's what we want. We don't want the satisfaction of this life. We want the satisfaction of the life to come, wherein is perfection and righteousness. Yeah, man. Self-satisfying. We don't want to self-satisfy. When you satisfy yourself all the time, you're given over to the flesh. Your guard is down. You're comfortable. The flesh always wants to be comfortable.
And you don't see any room for growth.
Say again?
And you don't see much room for growth. Then.
Yeah.
You satisfy
Right,
where
you become
you're at.
stagnant.
Yeah.
Right. You become complacent. You become stagnant. Right. You don't allow room for growth. So the fiery trials, okay, stimulate and inspire change, necessary change from within, right? And it puts a sense of urgency on you, right? What does Peter say?
What's that?
I'm calling on you because that's one of your favorites. About the coming of the Lord.
Oh yeah, is that 3? Yep. It says
Hasten the day.
Yeah, hasten the day. Yeah, slog.
It's to the rain. It's
Yeah.
the rain. Right.
First Peter 4 verse 13.
Days and day, because the days are evil.
But rejoice in as much as they are partakers of a Messiah's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, they may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Right, so this is a part of our reasonable service, where we present our bodies a living sacrifice, and that means we have to endure particular fiery trials, you know, whether it be ailments, loss. Brothers all will suffer loss, you know, things that are closest to you, you might have to have taken away from you, because that could be the difference of your destruction or your salvation, and brothers got to learn to think that way. The Lord is what knows. The Lord is the one that knows what's best for you. The heart is desperately wicked, you know? And so if you are one of his, you know, things may seem drastic at times, but it's necessary for you to grow and strive for that salvation. Wherein we will be able to enjoy the fruits of life, right? And that's why the scriptures say that he that followeth me in the regeneration shall receive 100-fold. Matthew 19, can you get that too, Baba Kashal? I still want you to finish Peter's. I want you to get Sirach 2, and then from there, get Matthew 19. And I think it's right around 27. Because there's ultimately a kingdom coming. Like our suffering isn't for naught, right? Just as much as we are partakers of Yahweh Shai's sufferance, we shall also partake in that glory. Why? Because when Yahweh Shai does ultimately come back, we are going to be taken into those ships, or one big ship, okay? And when that glory is revealed from heaven, and here it is, the earth is rocking to and fro because of the missiles are hitting, the pure concentrated fire is hitting the earth, we're going to be beholden by our enemies taken up into that chariot. Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. So we're going to partake of that glory in that day, right? Where we inherit, or rather, this corruptible puts on incorruption. We get those new bodies with change. And they're going to see brothers literally being... Shalom. We are going to ascend into the heavens through the power of Yahweh Shai. So while people are being destroyed, blasted to and fro, so to speak, we're going to be hopefully taken up in the chariots, and they're going to behold and witness that. You know? At the end, you don't know. Go ahead.
You want me to read the next verse in Peter?
If it's real.
I think that's it.
Okay, then we don't go on to the next precept, brother. So we're gonna receive of that glory, but Yahweh Shai is gonna get his first. It's about Yahweh Shai, man. All right, it's about Yahweh Shai. It's not about me. It's not about any one particular brother. It's about us coming together as per the body, worshiping and glorifying Yahweh Shai. That's what we're pushing. We're not pushing us. We're pushing the Lord. Say something.
Yeah, not unto us, you know, not unto us, but
I'm of the mind where. But
what's that? Psalms 1:15 and 1.
yeah,
Not unto us, not unto us, but to thy name be the glory.
Come. Yeah, I'm of the mind, right? Brothers in general, collectively, are of the mind. I of myself do nothing.
Yeah.
This is all of Yahweh Shai. You know.
Revelation 3 verse 18. I counsel thee to buy me of gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. So that when you're going through these trials and tribulations, it purifies you and turns you into gold, where Yahweh Shai can see his face. And that's how you can tell when you're right. And that's what he's saying. I counsel thee of thee to buy me gold tried in the fire. So those afflictions and those temptations that we go through, it purifies us. And that's what the Lord is looking for, essentially.
Yeah, in order for impurity to be removed from the precious metals, it has to undergo intense levels of heat. You know? I remember years ago, a brother did a video focusing in on the process of gold purification, the different intense levels of heat that it has to go through to get that refined, precious gold. And that's what we are being refined into, is precious ornaments, right, onto the Lord. You know, one of his jewels. One of his jewels.
Yeah, no, a lot of times when I think about like refined metals and stuff, you know, this is kind of like a carnal example, but there was a game that basically when you refine specifically gold, when you refine the gold, you only have like a 50% chance of actually smelting it to the bar you wanted. So like basically it's a representation of some people are going to go through that fire and are going to be consumed by it, while others are going to be purified and made into that perfect thing. But like that gold specifically had a success rate to not actually go through the purification or that furnace, you know.
Right.
So like I said, like to use that as an example is, you know, basically there's going to be guys that are going to go through that furnace of adversity and they're going to, you know, be consumed by it.
That's the scriptures. What does it say about how by and by they are offended? Got to get that. By and by they are offended. Meaning, when you come into the faith, you endured for a while, but you caught that hell.
Yep.
And the more hell you caught, the more stubborn and stiff-necked you became. Like, you start thinking thoughts like, it was better when I didn't know this. Like, I was chilling, I was good. You know, I could do certain things. Like a lot of brothers, not brothers, so-called brothers, when they came into the faith, things were cool for a moment, but when the heat came upon them, then they started to harden their neck. Because the Lord was using it as a form of rebuke. But he that is often reproved hardens his what? Hardens his neck.
Yep.
So there's a point where he stops receiving the instruction. He gets offended by every damn thing. He thinks that life was easier before he knew the truth, not realizing that's about to be his ass. He lost that part of himself, okay, that helps dictate like fear. Like you start to lose the fear of the Lord, you know?
Said, don't invade my queen space.
But yeah, come. What do you got?
Matthew 13, verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which received seed by the wayside. Verse 20. But he that receiveth the seed into the stony places, the same as he that heareth the word and it with joy receiveth it.
Done. Yep.
Yet he have not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended.
By and by he is offended. So he basically, because of no root, right? No sure foundation is in him. Things that happen to him cause those offenses. And basically he becomes of the mind that it was better for him to be in the world. That's why so many people do what? They go back to the world. Maybe they want to, they lost a woman, they want to get back with the damn woman instead of realizing that the Lord saved you from that damn bitch. Right? Real talk, man.
That's the first thing the Lord gonna take away from you, demon.
Yeah, most likely. More often times than not.
Because that's where your glory at, in a woman.
Yep. Yeah.
In the New King James Version, it says immediately he stumbled. Read by and by, he was offended. In your version, yes, immediately he stumbled.
Immediately he stumbled. Right, and he don't get up. Basically, he stumbled, but he don't get up.
No? And it's not the Christian church. It's nothing about monetary prosperity doctrine where we should forever be prosperous and just live lovely. This is about affliction and suffering and enduring that affliction and suffering to the end.
Yeah, it's ebb and flow, ups and downs, ebb and flow. Sometimes the Lord humble you and put you in a very low spirit, and that's what we're going to read in Sirach 2. And other times, the Lord exalts you, right? Put you, right? Put you in a more how do I want to say, exalted spot, so to speak. And you're not catching as much hell, so to speak. All right, there's a period where the Lord lifts the burden. So, okay, that's what I'm trying to say. Because the Lord's about balance. Yeah, go ahead.
Sirach 2 verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
So the Lord's giving you a warning that when you do come to serve me, you're supposed to prepare your soul for many types of temptations. Because when you come into the faith, that's when Satan is basically in the midst, right, to try you. Demons come at you. Why? Because now you're aware of these things. So because you become aware of these things, Satan's going to try his hand and try to thwart your efforts. Okay? Put things in your head, animate certain scenarios and people, all for the purpose of trying to get you to go back to the person in whom you were. That's Satan's mission from the Heavenly Father. That Satan is basically a sifter. Go ahead.
Verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure.
But the Lord said you gotta set your heart aright through what? Through the scriptures. Application of what you're learning is gonna keep you set. Even if you fall, you're gonna rebound, right? And if you're sincere, you're gonna come back stronger. You're gonna learn from mistakes. You gotta understand, the Lord is putting you in different scenarios, okay? But that builds character. It builds all the qualities that the Lord is looking for, okay? In a man who he wants to serve him and hopefully receive that salvation. Go on.
Ecclesiasticus 2 verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure.
So this thing is about endurance. That's a reoccurring theme in the scriptures. Those that endure, the same shall be saved. The word endure means to make hard. And that's what this thing does, right? The more you go through, the more you're able to absorb the different blows. You become hardened. When you first come in, you're a little soft, It's like, I remember the analogy I believe the elder apostle gave. It's like, your knuckles, you gotta build your knuckles up, right? Yeah. When you're hitting hard surfaces, it's gonna bruise, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna break the bone down. The more you do it, you have something called callousness, right? To make hard. So you restructure yourself to be able to absorb the impact, right? You become stronger. So constantly endure. So the more you're able to resist the attacks of Satan, the more you're able to pick yourself up in trying times, right? Because we are going to read about being put in a lower state. You can't lose yourself in these different trials that you're going through, right? And that's what we want to do. We want to get upset, frustrated, and, oh, woe is me, oh, this is so,
We know why.
Well, but the flesh is weak. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We react oftentimes through carnal means, right? Because we still in the flesh, but we don't serve it, but we're still bound by certain things at times that we have to correct. It's a constant fight. It's a constant fight. You know it, but you still have to make corrections. Okay? Because we're still in this chain of darkness, you know? Go ahead.
And make not haste in a time of trouble.
Right.
Please answer him and depart not away.
Right, man, we in the flesh. So we have what's the scripture say? Bear with me 1 second, where cast your cares before him.
Yeah.
So make not haste in time of trouble. When a situation arises, you start to worry, right? You start to feel stress. Maybe you go into a little bit of a panic. Oh shit, what am I gonna do? Right? So you don't want to operate when you're in that spirit, because you can become impulsive. You got to wait on the Lord. When you're in those scenarios, you should be praying, right? You should be praying that the Lord deliver you. You should be praying that the Lord give you a solution. The Lord, pray to the Lord to give you stability of mind, right? Help you endure. You got to be praying to the Lord for these different things. Pray without ceasing. So you got to be praying for strength. You got to be praying for mental stability, emotional stability. Pray the Lord endow you with the things that are pleasing unto him. So that way when these different situations arise, you keep it in the back of your mind. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Yeah, it is stressful, but let me see what we can do. Right? You take a different approach. You try different methods. You try the spiritual approach. Oh, what am I going to do, man? You know, instead of exacerbating the situation by stressing it. You know? Go ahead. And sometimes you do nothing. You just got to let it ride.
Let it be.
Literally. Like this brother said to me one time, if you can change it, then change it. But if you can't change it, it's out of your ability to, it's out of your control, then you got to let it ride. Right? Think about it. Why would you stress over something you could change? You pray, you put in a plan of action, you follow through on it. But if you can't change it, you just got to let it ride. Yep. Meaning you got to adapt to whatever the Lord is putting you through. Hence, not making any haste in time of trouble. Don't be trying to theorize, oh, maybe I should do this thing, maybe I should do that thing. No, you don't do shit until you get an answer from the Lord. And sometimes a no answer is the answer. Yep. So you let it ride. Go ahead.
Yeah, the scripture also says,
go ahead.
Said something about the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee.
Yeah. Con. That's
me behind you. That's
moral thoughts that are most heavy unto
thee. Yeah. That's the other precept I was thinking of.
It says,
right, and you do that through prayer. Like, in other words, you got to pray with whatever's going on, and then you got to move on with your day, bro. You can't be inside your head. You got to learn to get outside of your head. And how do you do that? It's sometimes because brothers got those mental demons, you know, Satan working on the mind. You know, we're trying to put it there, trying to get you to ride those mental waves. So what you do is you rebuke them. You tell yourself straight out, I ain't doing this shit, bro. I ain't doing this. Whatever it is, you just tell yourself, I'm not doing it. Because you got to reprogram through the spirit those different thoughts, right? Not saying you're never going to have them, but instead of just sitting there stewing on it, you got to say, no, we're not doing this, right? Excuse me. I rebuke. Is I. Gayar. Ka is rebuke thee. Ka at the end is thee. Excuse me. Speaking a little fast. Go ahead.
It says, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Wow. Gold is tried in the fire. Gold is tried in affliction, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. So you got to go through that fire, and you got to go through the affliction in order to be accepted of the Lord.
And you got to be patient. Yeah. And the Lord said that even to count it joy. Meaning you got to learn to appreciate what the Lord is trying to do for you. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a difficult task because you know, you could be a little resistful, man. Because change isn't always comfortable.
We gotta learn how to reprogram ourselves to suffering, because this world teaches us that it's all about prosperity.
Right. Comfort.
So as soon as we get afflicted or start suffering, we think there's something wrong going on.
Yep.
But this is the requirement of the Lord. You have to be afflicted and you have to suffer.
Right. You got to submit yourself to the Lord. Sometimes the Lord does it in a way where, you know, it's very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah, but we learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
That's it. Yep. I remember Elder Apostle Bar said that. You know, it's one of the.
But it don't come overnight.
No, it doesn't.
You gotta learn how to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yep.
And how you grow, you keep meditating on these scriptures, and when you feel uncomfortable, you lean on those scriptures. You start reciting them in your head over and over again, and that brings comfort while being uncomfortable.
Right. Yep. And then once you get to a certain point, the spirit does take over, because you'll be going through something and the spirit will put a precept in your mind. You're like, oh man, you know what? I'm tripping, bro. That's a cut. That's a cut to me. I'm over here, you know, making matters worse. I just need to calm down. You know, Salakia, Yahalba Shah, you know, I should be handling it this way, not that. Whatever the situation is, brother, you know.
Yeah, the more scriptures that you memorize, when we don't have these scriptures building, you just start reciting scriptures to yourself, and that's the oil that's going to bring you comfort.
Right.
That's why they say knowledge and wisdom is going to be the stability of thy time. Yeah. So the more and more precepts that you memorize, now while we comfortable, when you get uncomfortable, you can lean on those scriptures and get comfortable.
Yeah. The stability to ground you. What we gonna say, brother?
God, there was the one scripture that brother gave me was Sirach 30:21.
Yeah,
give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
We'll sit back and we'll be going back and forth in our own mind, like basically killing ourselves with thoughts that we're not even supposed to be meditating on. And 9 times out of 10, we wrong. Right. For instance, when I first started coming to the camp, I used to think a certain brother didn't like me because that was Satan in my head, because he wasn't acting the way I wanted him to act. I thought he didn't like me. So I was afflicting myself in my own counsel. But then at the end of the day, that brother that I thought didn't like me was the first brother that greeted me into the camp. So, you know, you can't read that again?
God, Sirach 30:21, give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thine own counsel.
Yeah, you can't afflict yourself in your own counsel, because that's Satan, and 9 times out of 10 you're going to be wrong. So you got to rebuke. Say it again.
Gayar Ka, I rebuke thee, and you can say Shaitan. All right? Satan, I rebuke thee, Satan. No? Yep, and you got to say it in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, right? I, Gayar Ka, Shaitan. Or, Gayar Ka, I rebuke thee, Rahawa, spirits, rise. I rebuke thee, evil spirits. Yep. That's an evil spirit. You know? Gayar Ka. Or Gayar, I rebuke. Okay? Yeah, man, that's it. That's why I just told y'all, brothers, when there's something that's like heavily weighing on you, especially if it's causing you a lot of stress, you just need to pray on it, but you need to go on the day. You basically need to let the Lord take the reins.
You still.
Yeah. Let it ride. Go on with your day and do what a spiritual man would do. You go and you look at the scriptures. You know, you do what you got to do throughout the day. The Lord gonna give you an answer. The Lord gonna deliver you in due time, right? But you gotta let the Lord work, man. Shit, you gotta let the Lord work. You be standing in your own damn way.
Well, for Satan, the first thing he want to do, he want to make you feel like a victim. So you'll be calling up victims hotline, special victim hotline all day long, feeling sad for yourself. Because you're being afflicted.
And you know what's crazy? You call that same hotline, and those motherfuckers keep sending you to different people.
Yep.
Hold on. We're gonna send you over to our other department. Waiting on that, you know.
Transfer extensions.
Because those are the different. What I'm attributing that to is the different thoughts that coming through your mind, you know. Hold on. Hold, please. Yeah, we're going to transfer you to this department.
Yeah.
Then you get disconnected. You got to start the call over again. Nah, just let them lower work. Yeah. Go ahead.
That was it on that one.
Okay, we read all of Sirach?
Yeah.
For the most
Oh
part?
no, I can go to 6 if you want.
Yeah.
Ecclesiastes
Yeah, we
2,
can
verse
we
6.
would end it here. If brothers got any last thoughts or whatever they could share. But you know, we're gonna end it here basically.
Yeah, verse 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way right, and trust in him.
Order thy way right and trust in him. And that's what we had to learn to do through the process of time, is to trust the Lord. That's what the word faith actually means. Okay, faith means to put your confidence or trust in. All right, to depend on. So we got to stop trying to depend on ourselves necessarily, right? Our own mind, that is. All right, not making flesh our arms, right? No, you got to learn to put total dependency on Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. And even that is a test. Just the Lord putting something on your plate to cause you enough mental stress to see whether or not, okay, are you going, you know, continue to, you know, afflict yourself in your own counsel, or you going to let me handle this?
Yeah, because Satan know that he that doubteth is damned.
Yeah, man.
One of the things he want to get you to do is doubt.
Yep. Yep. Right. Read that last part again, Baba Kusha. And we're learning to do that because there's much more trying times ahead. The hour of temptation, which is the implementation and mandation of the C-hip, which is the MOT, or mark of the beast. Right? And we're going to have to put full dependency on the Lord, especially then. When we don't have the convenience to say, okay, brothers, where do you want to go to eat? Right? We don't have the convenience of going to the coffee shop, right? Get ourselves a warm drink. Right? Brothers are wet right now. I'm soaked, feeling a little cold now. I had the convenience of, you know, changing clothes, going to get myself a hot meal. When I got to stay cold, wet, and damp, and still have the mentality to move on and refuse this, you know, these temptations, right? Those are the real trying times that we're entering into. And each man will be tried. So we're building that mentality, cultivating that mindset now, right? We're working, that patience is being worked within us now, so that we have a greater chance with those more trying, you know, situations. You know, the Lord is building us up. As long as we stick to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, we shall never fail. Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 2 verse 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way right, and trust in him.
So we got to learn to put our trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushai always. Always. Learn to use what the Lord has given us in every circumstance, in every situation. And sometimes that's literally as simple as waiting and being patient. Prayer and patience. And remember, our elder Apostle Gabar once said a while ago, the hardest part is waiting. It is, you know.
We also got to say to Yahweh Shem Yahushai for giving us the ability to study these scriptures and meditate on these scriptures, because 2/3 of Israel don't have this opportunity.
Right.
So we always got to be thankful.
I'll say this before you all close. A lot of people is going to be frustrated when they can't do things, you know what I mean, to alleviate their situation in these last days. Yeah, this one chick, I can't remember what it was she was asking me, but I think at some point I told her that, you know, just wait, you know, pray and wait for the Lord to do something in the situation. And she turned around and told me that, well, the Most High give you strength in your arms and your feet to try and, you know what I mean, alleviate the situation as best as you can, right? I like, well, the scripture also said, the Lord said, weigh ye upon me. You know what I mean? And I guess when she tried every option, it didn't work. Then she said, well, I sent up a prayer and I wait. And she said, you was right, the situation worked out. So sometimes we just need to
Be still.
let it go. Leave it
Still,
up to the
man.
Lord, you know?
Know that I'm Yahweh. Right?
Yeah.
Outside.
Right.
Yeah, Psalms 46.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that you are taking no action at all.
Exactly.
Right? But we want the Lord, we want the blessing of the Lord behind that decision or that action before we take it. Right. I got a quick precept. This is 1 Thessalonians 5:16. Rejoice evermore. Pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks. For this is the will of the Most High in Hamashiach Yahawashi concerning you. So in the NLT it reads, 1 Thessalonians 5:18, be thankful in all circumstances. For this is the Most High's will for you who belong to Yahawashi. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast that which is good, abstain from all appearance of evil, and the very power of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray the Most High, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of our Lord Hamashiach Yahawashi. Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it. Brethren, pray for us. So I'll leave it there, man. And that's the expectation and hope that we have for the elect. You know? So we just gotta hold ourselves accountable, hold fast. And the word hold fast basically is an expression meaning to retain, to hold within. Right? Don't be like those guys who got offended and decided that they were gonna go find themselves in the world. They were gonna find their comfort in the world when this world and the fashion thereof is about to be destroyed. All right? We are hoping to inherit the kingdom of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's when we can find ultimate total peace and rest and harmony and enjoy what the Lord has created. Because right now, we're under a wicked rulership. You will never find your peace in this place. No matter how much money you think you can acquire, or women, or any other carnal, fleshly thing, it'll never satisfy you. It'll never fully satisfy you. Especially when you know these things are all corrupted. These women are not virgins. They don't stand for anything besides self-preservation, which could mean your destruction. For her to get ahead of this world, she might have to destroy you. Take you to court, call the police, literally murder you in your sleep. These women are wicked, man. This life is in total opposition of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So we have been engineered through the mercy and grace of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, in which we should be thankful for, to think opposite of this world. Love not the world, neither the things that are in this world. For if any should love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. All right, and we know that our love is obedience to the Father. We gotta do what Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai says, and that causes us to be uncomfortable. But that is a good thing, because that uncomfortability is enabling us to do the work. It's inspiring us to do the right things. It's inspiring us to endure so that we could hopefully be saved. So that's all I have to say in the spirit. Anything else?
I got one. Yeah.
You got one? We'll end on that.
This is John 8:31. Then said Yahweh to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed. And that's for that brother that came over. If you follow through, you're going to be a disciple of the Lord. He's going to be your lawyer, if anything.
Which requires you to deny even your own pleasures.
32. And you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Nobody's going to be able to fool you into saying that you're an African, that you got so-called Hispanics looking different to anybody else that's actually black, if anything. Right? We're all brothers. We understand that the elder tribe of Judah are all brothers. We stand in our position. We learned it through them to begin with.
Yep. That's it.
And it's deeper than that anyway. So you gotta, like they said, you gotta look into it yourself. That's all I got.
Con. So with that, we hope you were edified. We want to, of course, give all honor, glory, and praise unto
Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rikakwadash.
Double honors unto our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations and a sincere shalom to all the hopeful elect. Kwam Yashala.